I made the plates for my wedding dinner, and I'm honestly not sure how they turned out as well as they did considering the circumstances, but I'm so happy with them. This is part 9 of my DIY wedding series, and if you remember back in January, my husband proposed with this ring box, and you'll usually see this kind of scene on some vintage French toile fabric or maybe vintage dishware, and I knew I wanted to incorporate this scene into our wedding plates. My friend Katie volunteered her studio and time and skill, and we spent hours hand building these plates, and they were turning out perfectly until we went to load them into the kiln, and I dropped a couple at the top of the stack, and all of them except 2 broke. So we had to pivot to some bisqueware and just go full steam ahead with the toile pattern that I designed for the glaze, but look at how they looked before. It was so beautiful. I had it in my head that I could screen print my designs onto the plates because surely there would be tons and tons of tutorials on YouTube for how to do this. I was wrong, but I didn't want to give up on my design, so I just had to figure it out. I drew this design based off of the ring box and some other vintage fabric patterns, and I love the little details like the tulip in her hand and the little lovebirds up here above us. I ended up burning the design on a 300 mesh count screen, which was the finest mesh I could find. Anything coarser wouldn't pick up all those tiny details. And then printing on plates was so tricky because a standard size screen doesn't fit in a circular plate, so I ended up making my own screens out of embroidery hoops. And finally, the glaze was too watery, so I had to add this thickening agent called CMC gunpowder. It's used in ceramics and also for stuff like frosting and sauces and cooking. I burned the screens on a short break that I had during a wedding day that I was shooting photos for, and then when I got home from the wedding after the reception, I screen printed all of the screens until 3 in the morning, and here I am painting in some tiny details that didn't quite come through on some of the plates.
It worked!
I was so happy and so surprised that it turned out so well. This was all less than 2 weeks before my wedding day for some context, so it was really high stress, but it worked out so beautifully, and now we have 25 plates that we can use for special occasions or hosting at our house.